We are back, boys. We are back at Beasley Knob. It is actually open today. Got the JK behind us. Let's see what kind of fun we can get into. Never done this trail before, and it rained, so it's gonna be muddy. She's gonna be muddy. We are at the mouth of the trail. This is just a little quick rest area where you can stop. And here's a little map. If you want to check it, peep it. So we started to make our way from the south side of the trail, and it was immediately very apparent that it was going to be a very challenging day because the trail was super muddy, and it's hard to tell in the camera angles, but it actually slopes in a lot of areas. And as you can see, there's not a lot of margin for error. The trees are on either side, so if you slide, you can easily go off the trail and hit one of the trees. So you have to be really, really careful. So we started to go up this way, and then we changed our mind and decided maybe we should go back a little bit here and try the other side, which sometimes can be drier, higher elevation, so it typically is a better road. So we turned around, went on the other side. I think this is the north side, and as you can see, this is a little bit better. Road's a little bit drier here, but things are going to change really quickly. So here we are. This is the rock trail. The first half of the trail is not too bad. I think even a stock Jeep can easily get through there. But as you go further up the trail, you'll see that the boulders get pretty big. Now the Sahara, some of you may know, is on a 2-inch lift on 35s. So it was okay, but as you can see, my side steps over here have steps on them, and they can easily get caught or hang on the rocks. The JK, on the other hand, is sitting on 37s and probably a 4.5 inch lift, so it was having an easier time going through. Here's where things change really quickly because of the mud, and it's hard to tell in the camera angle, but this is a pretty big slope. Just as you go over the rock trail, you can see I'm struggling here with traction. I'm sliding all over the place, and the sketchy part here is that there's a tree right there, and the Jeep, no matter what I did, if I went forward or backwards, wanted to slide into the tree. So what we did here is we winched to a tree in the front of the JL, and also I hooked to my son's JK on my rear bumper. So he was pulling me from the back as I was pulling the front to make sure that as I'm backing out, we're basically turning around because it's just getting way too muddy, way too challenging, and again, didn't want to do any damage to the Jeeps. Didn't want to damage the trail or anything like that. Want to be respectful of the trail at all times. And so we just winched back, turned around, but it was so slick, so muddy. You can see the tires are caked on already, and so they're not getting much traction. And I should have aired down a little bit more. I also forgot to disconnect. In the Rubicons, you can do that with the press of a button. On the JL here, I installed the JKS quick disconnects, but you have to do it before you start, basically mudding. Otherwise it's already all caked on and much harder to disconnect the sway bar. That probably would have helped a little bit. I don't know how much, but you can see this is pretty wild. And I show you footage as well from my son's JK as he was watching me trying to get out from a different angle. I'm kicking up a bunch of mud. We'll spin back a little bit in case that we saw also went off the road. It was so muddy and slick. Props to this I think it's like a 98, 99 Toyota. Today. It's just so muddy, and Georgia clay, just going through everything, sandy, very little issues, and he's so we got a couple stuck over here. Friend. I think they're buddies or friends, I'm not sure, but he's pulling this guy out who went off the road, and it just can't get any traction, can't go anywhere. I like and you'll see a pretty nice Tacoma pull here. At least go straight back now. Well, we just watched Tacoma. That little Tacoma was beast. That thing just yanked that other one, the newer Tacoma, right out of there. And oh man, the video's not gonna do this justice, guys, how steep this crap is, but it's pretty freaking steep. So I'm gonna have to give it the beans. Give it the beans, give it the beans. Oh my gosh. At least this area is a little drier than the other areas where we've been. Oh. Craptolas.
What is it?
Mud. That looks super sketch up there.
More mud. Yeah.
Put it in low.
Third time's a charm.
What do you guys think?
No.
Huh?
No. Look at that.
Yo, that's crazy. All right, back up just a hair. Where's Swag? Well, guys, we are heading back. I was not able to capture a lot of video, unfortunately, because we spent a lot of the time trying to winch out. That is Beastly Knob Trail, guys. So freaking crazy busy. Not busy, hard. I think on the Jeep Wave app, it's like an 8 out of 10. Yeah, I think it's like an 8 out of 10. So it's one of the more technical ones. I know Swag back behind us probably could have gone a lot further than we did. The JK is definitely set up a lot better than the Sahara. It's got bigger tires, better suspension, re-gearing, all that stuff. So he was not struggling as much as I was. And I think I probably had a little too much air on the tires. I should have aired down a little bit more. The view is just absolutely amazing, though. It's a pretty nice view. Chrome Donkey, I'm sorry you couldn't make it with us. We need to get up early and do this. I would have loved to have seen what the Gladiator thing would have probably breezed through a lot of these sections. It was just muddy. Clearance-wise, I was okay. There's one part of the rocks that I definitely couldn't make it over because I just don't have the clearance, and I know the axles would have definitely been bottoming out. But everything else was okay. The problem was if you got sideways, as you saw in the video there where we had to double winch the rear and the front, even just touching the gas slightly was causing the Jeep to go sideways. And you can kind of see, and videos will never do it justice, but that is a straight down cliff right next to the road. I mean, you can see it's pretty mountainous, and sliding would really suck because you're gonna hit a lot of things like trees. You're gonna damage your vehicle, but there's not a lot of room, and those trails were actually a lot tighter. This is actually the main road, Beastly Knob. I think it's pretty wide, so not a problem here. There's traction here, but up there in the mountains, it snowed in North Georgia a few weeks ago, and I think what we're seeing, because it really hasn't rained that hard, we are seeing just the wash, from the snow melting, and it was pretty bad. I'm really surprised because they usually close this thing with the slightest rain the days before, but I think because it's almost the end of the season for this trail, they close it from January to March, that they're just letting it go for now. But man, it was tough. A lot of fallen trees. You can see one right there, and there was just no room. And if I didn't double winch, we would have hit that one tree for sure. I didn't want to have to cut down that tree to back up. So thankfully, with the JK and this thing anchored up to one of the trees up there, it wasn't a big problem. So anyhow, I recommend it. Definitely don't do it alone. You saw in the video too, the other Tacoma, that was actually a group of 4 of them together. The older Tacoma, the 98, I think that's a 98 or 97. Man, that thing was sweet. It was going everywhere and easily pulled that newer 2016 Tacoma out of the rut that it was in. But that was the problem. What happened to that guy what happened to that guy too is that he just slid sideways, and that's what I'm talking about. It was really easy to slide, and again, I don't want to damage the Jeep, I don't want to hit a tree, but clearance we were fine. In case you're wondering, this is a 2.5-inch lift on 35s, and I didn't have any issues. I didn't hit anything except the higher part of the rock trail. Definitely you're gonna need a lot of height there, a lot of suspension travel. Some 37s, 39s would be nice. I mean, I'm sure guys in 35s have done it, maybe 33s, I don't know. But I don't like banging the bottom of the Jeep or the axles on rocks. And I don't think many people do. So, but yeah, here's an example. Again, the video is not gonna do it any justice, but this is basically a 20 to 30 foot drop off just right there. And when it's muddy and you're sliding, that's just not a lot of fun. So, oh yeah, it's Rosemary Drive, and we didn't go down that way. I think that goes down to the other side, or maybe this side goes there because it goes up the mountain. I don't know. We'll have to explore this some other time where maybe it's not as muddy. I hate mud. This thing is covered in mud. I know, for a Jeep that's kind of an oxymoron, but still, it's just cleaning. Nobody wants you to bring dirty Jeeps to their wash bays. Nobody wants you to leave all that mud behind. So, you know, it sucks cleaning up, and definitely not in the neighborhood, because the HOA would just probably, you know, flip out completely. Anyhow, that'll do it for today's video, guys. Like I said earlier, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know of any other cool trails around Georgia that you recommend. So take care.